Wicked Witches. It is the Capricorn full moon, the second one, which is a blue moon because it's the second one in the month, second Capricorn moon in a row of this year, 2024, which is an 8th year, and it's halfway through the year. Wow, what a year it has been. So the Capricorn full moon for this moon is happening on the 29th degree, so literally just before it goes into Aquarius and just before we go into Leo season in the sun. So the bigger picture is doing the same thing. So we are, Pluto has been dipping in and out of it was in Capricorn so it's like kind of a 20-year cycle, and but it does lots of retrograding, so it's kind of a bit it's almost like a dovetail thing, like it dovetails into each year, so you kind of get 16 solid years, but it dovetails either end. And we've been dipping in and out of Capricorn and Aquarius, but we've been in Capricorn for the last 20 years, 16 years, which is the sign, I love it, I am Capricorn, but it's the sign of authority, of patriarchy, of tradition. It's like very heavy and very masculine and it's the father, you know. So we've had a chunk of that going on, and now Pluto's entering into Aquarius. And the last time it was in Aquarius, we had the French Revolution, the Industrial Revolution, the American Revolution. It is very much about the collective, new ideas, new ways of doing things, throwing things over. It's air, so it's all about communication and ideas. So it's very like aliens and Elon Musk and AI, and it's very much that kind of vibe. But also like innovative. So there's the opportunity for lots of new and interesting things to happen in the next 20 years. God, don't we need it? And I'm really passionate about and very much delving into the idea of imagination, and how there is a quote, and I don't know who said it, but the quote is, we're not having a climate crisis, we're having a crisis of the imagination. So all this nonsense that I create is celebrating and delving into and playing with the imagination as an attempt to demonstrate that anything's possible. You can dress like this, you can live like this, you can walk across the country, you can do a podcast, you can do anything. You really can do anything, and we're not limited by what is. And so there's a really good book by Rob Hopkins called From What Is to What If. Because what is we're doomed. What is there's a climate crisis. What is we're a disease. What is we have no power and politicians are corrupt and there's nothing we can do about it. What if we got rid of all of the political structures that we had and created completely new ones? What if we got rid of police and did things differently to that? What if we got rid of prisons and did things differently to that? What if we let children run the schools? What if, I mean, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. It doesn't mean it's a good idea, but we need to be loosening up the imagination. What if all street lights were turned to neon, UV, and all of the markings on the roads were made neon paint? What if one night a week was women only night and men had to stay in and just women went out, and it was safe to walk the streets and be out without fear of men? What if, you know, anything, like what if we sat in groups and discussed everything in a ceremonial way, and every 2 weeks we had a full moon, dark moon ceremony as a way of, and using the moons as an inspiration to run our government, and that was the way that we did it. What if we all had a community garden where we grew food, and then once a month we all got together and had a meal, and There were art classes run from it and schools run from it. And what if the whole national curriculum was run from a garden, and that you did all of the teachings through nature? You know, all of these things, it's all possible, and we do not need to be limited by what already is. So, and the thing that's interesting in this book, and I agree, is that like slow, subtle change, that opportunity's long gone. We're no longer, that's not an option anymore. We now do need to do radical things, and for that to happen we need to have some imagination. And so all the work that I do is about the inner and the outer and making it one, which is the Fool. The Fool is the top of the tarot deck. Outer world's infinite, inner world's infinite. Sphincter in the middle is your ego. When that's untwisted, we're all one. That's when it's the circle, and we're all connected, and the inner and outer are one. And it's totally possible to live like this, and when you're in that space, it's amazing. And yeah, how to bring the sacred and the imagination and the dreaming back into our everyday reality. It helps if you start just letting go of caring about what people think about you, and what a human is meant to behave like, what a human is meant to look like. You don't have to obey any rules. So this Capricorn full moon is not only 2 Capricorn full moons in a row, which is like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life, your profession, your authority, your responsibilities as an adult? Like, definitely an invitation to check in with that, look at that, make sure that you haven't got sidetracked, make sure you're doing what you want to do, stand back and look at to see the wood for the trees. But also, it's this bigger picture where we are coming to the end of this 20-year cycle, and we're entering into Aquarius, matching what's happened now with the moon. And Pluto was in opposition to this moon as well, so like things might have come out of the darkness, old things might have resurfaced, things that you thought that you dealt with. So it's all very much pointing to this being a reflection of the bigger. So what has happened in the last 20 years? What have you learned? Where are you at? What are you moving into? What's the next chapter? So you've just done a 20-year process, and you're now moving into a new one. So this moon is about taking stock, doing literally like an inventory. What I've started doing is writing a list of all the things that I do, and then doing columns next to it of like, does it make money? How much money does it make? Does it plump my ego? Does it make me feel, like, woohoo, look at me, check me out? Does it feel like it's towards my higher purpose? My higher purpose is creating the nonsense in the chaos and teaching people about the inner and outer world and disrupting reality, and to try and create a more passionate, compassionate and extraordinary world. So if it feels like it's doing that, doesn't matter if it doesn't make any money, doesn't matter if no one knows that I'm doing it and there's no like ego pumping involved in it, I'm still really up for doing it. Does it serve my mission, which is to deepen my connection to nature and the natural world, and to support other people to deepen their relationship to the natural world? Does it is it supporting me emotionally? Like, is there other things, anyway, list of things. So I have like different columns that I then do a score out of 10, 1 being low, 10 being high, and then at the end of it see what the scores are, and if things aren't scoring very high, looking at whether I can flush them and get rid of them. So that's a good thing to do on this moon, is just do a little like higher purpose check-in of how vital the things are that you're doing. And then also, hello Ellen, this is Ellen, my dragon, pet dragon, she's beautiful. What I'm then going to do is to spend a bit of time writing a list of all the things that I've learned and have been developing in the last 20 years. And then where it feels like I'm moving to, what the next lot of stuff is. Then I'm going to turn those into sigils, and I'm going to bless some stones. So I've got some smooth stones that I've picked up from the beach. I'm going to bless them in earth, salt, air, smoke, incense smoke, fire, candle, water, moon water that I've blessed. And then I'm going to draw the sigils on them. And then I'm going to take one to the sea, the one that I'm saying goodbye to, because the full moon went full whilst we were still in Cancer, which is a water sign. So I'm going to do the past to the sea, the things that I've learned, and say thank you for everything that I've learned. And then the stone that's for the future is in Aquarius, is air, and I'm going to throw that off of a cliff into the air. And that's what I'm throwing my intentions to into the future. So that's what I'm doing for my ceremony, and that's what I'll be working with people during the ceremony tonight on. So now I'm going to do a reading for you. Sorry, Alan, I'm going to put you down. There we go, my darling. And we'll check in with what the cards and everything are saying about all this, because I felt it's been really powerful, but it's felt gentle for me. Like, I am so Capricorn. I've got Capricorn, Sun, Moon and Mars. So, I mean, it's quite a, like, my emotional inner world, my overallness and my drive, and yeah, so I'm pretty damn Capricorn. Harvest. That's exactly what this means about. Harvesting what you've learned, what you have discovered in the last 20 years. And it's a new beginning, the silver birch. It's a new beginning. Physically, we're going into a new beginning. Lagos in our communication. So really connecting, thinking about and really connecting to the inner world. I had an extraordinary dream last night where I dreamt of all of my archetypes. So I've been doing the Which Fool Are You course, and I've connected to and met all my archetypes, and that's something that's happened in the last 20 years. That's been part of the last 20 years work, has been really getting to know my archetypes. And that's inner world work, which is Lagos, which is that rune. It's the watery inner depths. In my dream last night, which is Lagos world, the inner world, I spent time being and inhabiting each of my archetypes, and they all had a different costume and different thing going on, and they all got crowned. I got crowned in each of them, and then I was there with Yggdrasil, the tree of life, and I was in Middle Earth, but I could see Yggdrasil, I could see the full tree, and yeah, I felt pretty special. So when you're thinking about what you're doing and what you've learned, it's the inner world stuff as well. What have you learned inwardly? In our emotion, our will, in the fire, in the south, we have Giof, which is the spiritual gift. But this is about the twin. This is about your relationship to the other, which doesn't exist. So we split ourselves as a way of, I don't know, it's our subjective experience of what is actually really one objective thing. And what enemies, like, how have you split? What enemies have you created? What divides have you created? But also, how have you come together? Like, what have you learned in terms of your relationship to other people, your romances? It's your partners, it's all of those things. But what have you learned? What have you learned from the twin effect? Because it is a learning. We're here, we're here to, when we die, we go back to being all one. We go back to being part of the universe. We go back to being part of the worm food and the planet, and all of that. We're temporarily having a divided experience because fucking hell, it's interesting. We're all, choosing to come back and have a go. And then in the spiritual, it's about being brave and being, it's the horse. So it's like putting one step in front of the other and moving forward. So stepping fearlessly into the next phase. Like, don't be scared, be brave, go forwards, move forwards, and just keep on trucking in the spiritual world. That's willing us forward. There's more to come, more to learn, more to discover. So then I've got cards. So I'm going to pull 3 cards for a little more insight. Cruelty. Interesting, because I just we literally just pulled this card in one of my podcasts with Jonathan Kay, and we talked about cruelty, and we talked about all the cruelty that's going on in the world, and how we're cruel to ourselves, how we're cruel to each other, and that there are many different shades of cruelty. That's why there's so many swords on there. There are many ways that one can be cruel. and cruel, yeah, again, inwardly and outwardly. So, yes, there's cruelty in the world. Bloody hell, there's some more to come. And we have to be with that. We have to sit with that. That's part of our experience in this reality. It is part of the dance. It's part of the game. There would be no shade and depth without. You can't just have love. You have to have cruelty as well for the love to mean anything. We also have here interference. So things are going to trip you up, are going to get in the way, are going to distract you. Doing a lot of stuff. This thing with the imagination and developing our imagination is a lot to do with social media and distracting ourselves and ruining our perfect timing, concentration span. That was hilarious. So yeah, really important. But then death, amazing. I was like, God, what's going to come out at the end of that? This is transformation. So it's time for this to, well, I mean, it can mean both things, can't it? We need to flip the script. We need to imagine something else. We need to absolutely like fizz into a different reality. What Jonathan was saying about imagination is it's not speculation. So it's interesting because I'm saying what if and what is. What if is a speculation, but I feel so that's like kind of the bait, like that's the ground level. What if we need to start imagining other things and allowing that to be what if in a playful way, in a curious way. But what he's saying about imagination isn't speculation is that what if does make you split. So it's like, what if this was to happen would suggest that there's a split. Real pure imagination and where we could step into and where possibly we have once been as beings was like we didn't even really need to eat because we were so energized by our connection to the earth energy and to the world around us, and that we were completely connected in the now, which was like all the way to the ends of there is no end of the universe, but now is the stars and the planets moving, as well as everything that's happening on the earth, as well as where you are on the earth and the room you're in, but as well as your inner world and everything that's going on in there. That now is all of that. That's vast, and that is what we are. We are part of now. We're part of all of that. You know, like you can get snapshots of the internet. It's what GHQ, the spy thing, takes snapshots of the internet. So yes, it's changing, it's moving all the time, but they just take this snapshot of the internet and it's got everything that's happening at that moment in time, and the internet is on there. Well, now is a snapshot of the whole thing, the whole universe, of everything. That's now. And the imagination within that is not like, oh, what if, what, that all is kind of present, I mean, past and future. Now is just pure awareness and connection to each other. And that's the kind of level of imagination that's possible, where we can just be absolutely pure awareness and one with everything, that we're like, have no needs, no requirements, nothing. It's just absolute beingness. And that working with and being in the possibilities of how in tune with the universe that one can be, you know, do not belittle what is possible. And yeah, dream big. That's why it says on there, is this heroic? Is this heroic? Make it fucking heroic, whatever it is you dream or create. Don't play smooth. So death, blimey, absolute transformation, and or we all die. So discern, pulled discern. So let's see what that means. You do give a fuck, but you are very discerning about where and to who you give those fucks to. When you remember and recognise that you have your feet firmly on Mama Earth in the present, and you have access to all that has been and all that is to come, you'll know. Know, as in the K-N-O-W. K is a I and a C. So to know something is I see now. And I see now means I see no W, which is the split. I see no W. Oh, I see no W. I see now. I know. That's a little like into what no means. So when being called, so what did that say? So, and you have access to all that has been and all that is to come, you'll know. I see no W. I see now. I see no W. You will know that rushing, judging, doing, reacting is not what's required right now. What's being called of you is to receive and then respond. So yeah, wonderful, excellent. Don't get sucked in to all the drama. It's tempting, and the social media and the scrolling. Just switch off. I'm going to have a detox again because I've got really scrolly the last few days. I was like, blimey, I'm doing this a lot. Just be. Whoop, just be. Meditate. Do yoga. Look after yourself. Walk in nature. Relax, because this transformation of death, this huge shift that we're going through, the more you can just relax, the better. So yeah, just be. Just be. Makeup is nice, as is pretty pairs of shoes. In fact, beautiful shoes are one of life's total pleasures, but don't get attached to them. Instead, work out what's really important to you and let non-essentials fall away. You don't need it. You don't need any of it. What you need is to just be. So scrap the list of wants and requirements for life and just take time to unwind a little and just be. Be grateful for what you now have. Pause, let go of any tension you might have and melt into serenity, even if it's just for 5 minutes. If you can make it last an hour, I'm waiting to give you a high five, and you wouldn't want to leave me hanging now, would you? And again, because things are going to need to change dramatically now, like we're past the point of tweaking, we're going to have to get used to not having all the things. These things are going to be, memory of being able to have all this stuff. It's going to be a memory. But it also won't matter, like, that's the point. We don't have to look at that with despair or doom, but to go, okay, I don't need it, and I've got plenty, and it will last, and there are different things to do. We've got new things to do. It will be exciting. I love doing my Tudor reenactment. We weave, we use wool. Wool gets thrown away now. It's a premium quality product, and we throw it away and pollute our seas with microfibers of plastic. Like, what are we doing? It's waterproof, it breathes. Like, wool is extraordinary. So I'm well up for weaving and carding and dyeing and slowly chilling out fucking under a tree carding some wool instead of going to an office. I'm down with that, mate. Thank you very much. Yes, please. Sit around knitting all day. Cool. I can do that as a job. No problem. Oh my God. Knitting and crocheting. Brilliant. Hecate. She was a very key moment in my dream last night. I remember her. That was, it was in my dreams. Sometimes I go, oh, this is a dream. It's really important. I must remember it. And the moment where I did that last night was when I was being crowned as Hecate. She's one of my archetypes. What a dude she is. So Hecate, decision, was the goddess of dualities. Hecate is the guardian of the gateway between the realms of life and death, presiding over witchcraft, necromancy, and the crossroads. With a torch in each hand to light the way, she guides lost souls and the less fortunate to safety. She is often worshipped as the crone aspect of the triple goddess, alongside Demeter Mother and Persephone Maiden. She is always accompanied by packs of dogs, her sacred animal, and possesses the ultimate skeleton key, allowing her to unlock all realms of existence. Hecate's origins remain a mystery, although it's believed that she predates several of her fellow deities. Hecate reveals herself to guide you in times of great confusion, standing by your side at the crossroads of doubt and decision. At times, a choice can feel impossible to make. What if the time is not right? What if regret lies hidden within the results? All that Hecate asks is that you do away with the what if and embrace what is. What? That's the opposite. That's really funny. That's mental. Blame and judgment have no place here, so trust in the path you have chosen and know that the goddess will join you on that journey. If you are truly unwilling to make your decision at this time, do not feel you have gone astray. Instead, accept that the flame of Hecate's torch will unveil this decision to you when the time is finally right. So yes, I mean, I'd say that's the Jonathan Kay side of it, of like stopping the speculations. Just put her, oh no, she's there. Yeah, I get both of them are useful. The what is to what if is to loosen up the outer world, but in terms of the inner world, we don't need to, it's just what is. We don't want to speculate anymore, we just be. So we're closing a door. It's not closing a door, we're assessing, we're harvesting the learning from what has been and what we've gone through, and we're now entering a new space and a new phase. We're taking what we've learned with us. And I mean, like, blimey, like, it's been epic. It's been epic. Thank you very much for all of it. It's been mad, and I thoroughly look forward to the next bit and taking what I've learned through to the next stage. I hope you feel the same. Relax if you don't, just trust it, just trust it. And you're doing great, you really are. We've got this. You only get the end level bosses that you're capable of. The universe only gives you what you're capable of, and it's all to lead us towards our higher purpose and our higher selves. So yes, but blimey, imagine what if we all managed to imagine an incredible future and world where we thrive and are loving and together and passionate, compassionate, and having an extraordinary time, where we are like Snow White in nature and nature's friends with us and we feel connected to it and everything's thriving, and just that the love is flowing through all of us, and we are part of the dance of the planets and the dance of our emotions and our hearts, and life is a dance and a joy and a celebration and a festival, or if. So trust it and enjoy it and don't fight it. Go with the flow, relax, and dream big. Make it heroic. See the anon, my loves. See the anon.